both offensively and defensively today.
Really, what do you hope to accomplish on the first day of practice? Is it more of a meet and greet and get to know the system, or what?
It's orientation. It's total orientation. We have things we want to consistently do all season, but you have to start explaining those things. And like, how are you going to play the high screen? How are you going to play the side screen? What are you going to do when the ball goes in the post? All those things have to be covered. It's not like these players have never heard what they're hearing, but there are different philosophies, and so we want to make sure that they hear a consistent thing all year, and that we're all on the same page. And so it takes some time. That's what training camp's for.
Are you going through like terminology, vocabulary, and
Sure, terminology, the way we want to play it. I mean, there are a lot of different ways to play the screen and roll in basketball, and nobody's come up with the perfect one yet. That's why there's still a lot of ways. But we want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and it takes a lot of time to cover all the situations that can come up.
after one day, do you actually get a sense of what you got, or does it take you? How long does it take you?
Well, I think you can find out which guys tune in and which guys tend to drift a little bit. But for a first day, I was very impressed with how smoothly they were picking up the things we were throwing out there.
Paul, do you piecemeal your system and your structure and what you want these guys to do as far as your system, or do you tell them the entire concept right out the gate and then chip away from it from there?
I like to try to give them the big picture first, and then break it down to the smaller elements. And it even takes a few days to get the whole big picture out. Yeah. But we put in some defensive situations, some terminology, and then we talked quite a bit about transition defense, and we also put in our basic offensive structure for when things happen. Like what I mean is I didn't put in any plays, but if a team double teams the post, this is what we do. Mm-hmm. If we run any kind of how am I trying to explain this? I'm explaining to the players a lot better than explaining it to you guys. But there's a default offense that we have at the end of the break, early offense before we get set up in anything. If we think we have an advantage, there's default things that we do if they throw a zone at us or if they double team. Yeah. That's a basic structure that we have that they have to know, because when we put specific plays in, and the other team does something unexpected, then we have to know what our default position is. And so I covered that today, and they picked it up really well.
And then do you react to how quickly you think they're absorbing it, or is it basically you telling them to make sure you keep up?
Both. Yeah. I think that there's a certain learning curve for everybody, and if you jump ahead of the learning curve, all you do is you put everybody into confusion. We don't want to be confused. We just want to build on whatever groundwork we can have, and as we get it, then we move on to the next thing.
Is the plan to emphasize defense a lot early and then get to the details of offense later, or are you going to kind of mix both in? Well,
you have to mix both in. We talked defense first, and we're going to emphasize defense primarily, but if you don't have an offensive framework, you're going to be bumping into each other, and it's just no good. You have to really do both. Even if you're going to work on defense, you have to have a structured, coherent offense to defend. So they go hand in hand. I like to do a lot of 5-on-5 things because of that, because you're working on offense and defense at the same time.
How was the team dinner last night?
Team dinner was great.
How was that?
What'd you have?
How was that different from an orientation?